We're continuing to see the progression for the digital ID and digital payments, tap to pay, and all of this stuff that's continuing to lead us towards technology getting inside of our bodies. I want to thank Kayla over on the website for sharing this with me. Now, the Samsung digital ID I'm going to start with, and I'm going to get into some of this other stuff with the tap and pay, how they're conditioning people, again, over and over and over again, because they know that people are fearful of moving towards this type of technology, so they need to brainwash them with their little Good Morning America shows, etc., with propaganda to tell them how much safer and better it is so that people go along with it, and it works, as I'll show you. But we'll start with the digital ID from Samsung, because I talked about this years ago, and I know a lot of you probably don't remember. So I talked about the digital ID in some states like Arizona, and how they're going to use digital wallets, and they're going to continue to do this and give you the illusion of, well, Samsung wallet, Apple wallet, this while your digital ID is on there. So it doesn't seem so forced, like the government saying, this is your government website, this is your digital ID. So people are going to, the illusion of freedom, of course, will always exist, because psychologically they convince people that they're making a choice when they're not. All these corporations are owned and run by our government. So whether it's Samsung, whether it's Apple, whether it's whoever else makes a phone that's popular, Nokia, which I don't think anyone uses anymore, but whoever it is, and whatever the devices, whether it's PayPal, these types of online digital payments, it's going to start with the illusion, and that's what we have now, right? You pay with Apple Pay, you pay with PayPal, you pay with this, you pay with that online. This is what we're starting out with. So the digital wallet in Arizona, with the digital ID, the digital driver's license, is continually quietly evolved, and now they've moved on to the Samsung wallet, where they're saying, hey, you can provide your ID now, you could use the Samsung wallet, right? And everyone goes, oh, that's great, I can use my Samsung wallet because it's way too hard to carry around an ID in my pocket, right? And you might think that sounds crazy, but that is the way that they're convincing these people, of course, that they need to evolve. And they're saying, oh, don't be a dinosaur, don't carry cash. And they don't realize this has nothing to do with being a dinosaur or evolving, and it certainly has nothing to do with making it easier, because it's not easier. It has to do with control. Digital payments will be under their thumb and their footprint. They'll be able to freeze your bank accounts, do all sorts of things with your money, with you, where you can go, where you can't go. Once everything is digital, you have no freedom anymore, because they can shut you off in a moment's notice. Of course, we've seen the precursor in Canada with the truckers, but I think that's a side pronounce in our story. This is life inside of China now. So at the same time, we have the story about the digital ID and the digital license in Arizona. They're going to desensitize people and move this again into state after state. Probably from here, it'll move into more liberal states. We know California's doing this as well. And then, of course, they'll just start kind of going, hey, we're not forcing it on you. We're not forcing it. It's just there for you. And then, of course, little by little, they'll say, well, now, the California's not going to mail you your license anymore because it's not good for the environment. People just, okay, well, I already heard about digital ID. I know someone who has digital ID. And they won't realize they don't really know. What the brainwashing from all the television shows and the news that they watch continually subtly program them into thinking it's safe. It's not a big deal. What's the deal? I do everything on my phone anyway. I do everything online anyway. I make purchases online. They don't realize that they're just giving up freedom. And eventually, they're the ones who are going to willingly give their freedom to the government. And that's what they're doing. And they think that me talking about us on that's just a conspiracy. And of course, these are the people who are going to fully obliged to everything the government says, being a prisoner because they're going to tell them they're being a good person, and that's all they need to hear, right? That's all they need to hear. Oh, I am being a good person by staying inside 24 hours a day, not going outside. I'm helping the environment. These people have no brains whatsoever inside their head. So at the same time we hear about this with digital wallet, here's something that just aired on Good Morning America about your digital wallet, again, and how it's safer than plastics. And I'll show you this. You might see this and say, wow, well, who's falling for this? What suckers are doing that? And I'll read you some of the comments after. But this is aired on Good Morning America. More conditioning, over and over and over. Repetition, the key to mind control. We're seeing this over and over, and them trying to make people feel secure and safe with digital payments, because not enough we're getting on board with making payments like this, and they want you to be, and eventually they're going to force you to without telling you that they're forcing it.
Our GMA cover story now, finding safer ways to pay this holiday shopping season. Tap to pay transactions are estimated to grow by more than 150% over the next few years. As this method becomes more popular, Becky Worley joins us to break down how safe they are to use. Good morning to you, Becky.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, if you've ever seen people use their phone or their watch to pay for a purchase and wondered, how do I do that? And is it safe? Well, we're going to answer those questions, but spoiler alert, once you set this up, it's easier, it's faster, and it may even be safer than using plastic. Tap to pay. First, the tech. Two devices, your phone and the payment reader, communicate wirelessly. That transmission is encrypted, meaning it can't be intercepted by a hacker.
It's a really great technology that helps reduce a lot of the friction of purchasing.
Android, Apple, and Samsung phones all have digital wallets built in. You set them up by adding a credit card or a debit card. You can even use a prepaid card. I have an iPhone, so I just double-click on the side and up pops my wallet app. I select the credit card I want to use. I just tap, and the purchase is charged just like I used a regular credit card, except it's faster and easier than using plastic. But for a lot of people, the reason they aren't doing this is they worry about safety.
Some people are still hesitant on using digital wallets because it's weird to not have that card information directly in front of you.
Your plastic credit card, though, has a vulnerability. If someone gets the number and the date and code on the back, they can make charges. But when your phone communicates with an e-reader, it doesn't share that credit card number. It creates a one-time use number that is useless to a thief. It's called tokenization.
The reason tokenization is really helpful is that it creates a level of encryption that we just can't get with physical cards.
Google says digital wallets provide added security, and Apple adds it's safer than using a physical credit, debit, or prepaid card. Okay, but what if your phone gets stolen? In order to use the digital wallets on watches or phones, your device must have a password. Now, Apple tells us that Apple Pay is available in more than 85% of retailers, but one downside is that other 15% means you still have to carry a plastic credit card. And we should mention that it's not just the big three that we mentioned, Samsung, Google, and Apple. There are also new services like Zelle and PayPal and Venmo that you can use in some stores. It's a whole new world out there for paying for your purchases, Michael.
Yes, it is, Becky. When I tell my kids I give them cash, they look like, what is this? Put it on a card. Cash is, they really do. But thank you so much for that, Becky. As always, we appreciate you.
So as that continues on, people become more accustomed to doing things that way. Like one of the subtle ways they do it is by saying, hey, you had a credit card. What's the difference between tapping on there, right? Oh, you got an Apple Watch. What's the difference between having an Apple Watch on your wrist versus inside your wrist? You see where this is going? Because that's exactly where it's going. So when you read some of the comments in the comment section, this is because you probably see that and you go, nobody's going to buy that. Who's going to follow? But no, this is the typical zombies, right? Let's start with this one. I just started using this myself and used it recently on my first trip to Paris. I used my phone for the metro and everything. It was so easy and seamless and available everywhere in France, right? Here's somebody else. I've always been hesitant to use tap to pay, but this video has increased my confidence. I mean, you look at these comments and you say to yourself, oh, those are bots. That's what we all think, right? But no, that's the problem. These are real people behaving like bots because literally the human beings that really, they might be flesh and blood, probably half mixed with black goo now, but they're literally bots. They're programmable matter. That's what these people are. So this one's the best one. As I say, the best for last year. When I traveled to China, they typo there, 5 years ago, I was shocked. Everything over there is paid via the phone. No one carries a card or cash. Keyword there, China, right? Because this is what it's headed towards. Enslavement. For those of you that don't know, the citizens in China are slaves. And during that outbreak that occurred, I covered a lot of scary stuff over there, including how they lock people inside their homes. And even some of those apartment buildings that caught fire, they wouldn't let them out because they're literally prisoners. And a lot of people over there, when they question the government, the way the government's handling anything, they shut down your bank account. They don't let you get on a plane. They don't let you leave your town. That's what this is headed towards. And that's why they're so hell-bent on getting everything digital, because they can't control society when cash and bartering and things are options. They can control you when you're forced into digital online payments. Now they want you to willingly do this. And people are willingly doing this. Eventually, They're going to say, well, this technology's been around for 10 years. Now these companies need to adapt. Now so-and-so needs to adapt. Now this country needs to adapt. And everybody will hear that, and everybody will go, yeah, I agree. They do need to adapt. We need to adapt. What's the big deal? Oh, the market, these people are conspiracy theorists. There's nothing going on here. There's no stories out there about the government freezing anyone's bank account, so why should we be concerned? As if the main story on NBC Nightly News would be, oh, the government's frozen this conspiracy guy's YouTube channel, his bank account because of his YouTube channel, because they don't like what he's saying, and he's breaking the law by speaking freely on the internet. They won't put that out there. And even if they did put it out there, they'd spin it in a way that people out there will go, hey, that's it. He deserves to not eat food. He deserves not to have, the right to currency or to buy and do any of these things, right? Because they're easily manipulated, right? These people are what you would call programmable matter. That's what they are. So we are headed closer and closer to all this technology obviously being accepted, endorsed, and then being the old school way being phased out. So that's what's next. That's why a reset is on the horizon. We all debate reset, right? But the Agenda 23rd has to do with digital payments. And we're hitting 2024 here. We know a big year is coming. This isn't just saying it because the beginning of the year is coming. Okay, everything with Trump and everything with Biden, we know a lot of crazy stuff. They have pre-planned for all of us, okay? And everybody knows it's coming. Everybody can feel it. They just don't know what their plan is yet, but everyone out there thinks it's organically happening. They're like, it's going to be crazy with Trump. It's going to be crazy with the elections. It's going to be crazy because they're obviously preparing you for something crazy. That's all pre-planned, okay? And in Agenda 2030, digital currency and all these things are part of it. So they're going to have their foot on the gas in 2024. Don't even think for 1 second that any of it's real when you start hearing stories about cyber attacks, your ID being attacked, your identity being attacked. This will be your government doing it. This will not be hackers in Russia in their parents' basement with hoodies on and anonymous masks. Okay, that's what they want you to believe. Your own government's going to do this stuff to you to make you comply to what they have planned. So they have to go full throttle in 2024, more so with digital payments and digital ID. So the only way they're going to get you on board is through ways like this to convince you that it's safe and it's easier, and then of course to scare the crap out of you by telling you that people are being, their IDs are being hacked, their credit cards are being hacked, their bank accounts are being hacked, and hopefully we have everything digital, everything inside of us, nobody can hack you. But the reality is they will be hacking you. They'll be hacking you and controlling you. So this is, Good Morning America. The holidays, is your digital wallet safer than plastic? So of course they're going to tell you it's safer. Of course they don't say, hey, somebody get your credit card and then they just go tap it, they can just drain your bank account, et cetera, et cetera. And then they don't really give you much reasoning as to how it's so much easier other than saying it's a pain to carry plastic. I mean, if you're walking around in your wallet's the bigger problem of your day, that's bulky in your pocket, probably have something wrong with you, or you're like just very, very, I don't really know the wording to use. I mean, you know what I mean? They're like, plastic is really bad. So other things they'll do is talk about how plastics are bad for the environment, et cetera, which we already do. Right, they'll start doing things like that to get everybody on board with getting rid of credit cards and everything going digital, be better for us, safer for us, healthier for us, and we don't have to worry about being hacked. So be prepared to hear more stuff about this, specifically, of course, revolving around the digital ID. They are hell-bent on the digital ID. The digital ID will be normalized. And again, there's going to get to a point where we're going to have to break away from this. And obviously, those of us who are not complying and getting all this stuff digitally, and when I say break away, we're going to have to put our foot down, and civilians are going to have to break away from the system and probably live off-grid wherever we can for a time being before they try to do something to all of us. That's another story for another day. And over on the website, Uprising Revival, there are forums and things like that where you can discuss these things, where you can discuss what possibly you could do to prepare yourself when the grid goes down, and just ideas and things like that. So over on the website, there's a lot of discussion about that. I hope to see more people over there. Thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless all you guys always and your families.